My first question is, you're working on a documentary. Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
The children that I'm working on is...
You're co-directing it, correct?
Yeah, I'm co-directing it.
Okay.
Is about the life of orphans, Tutsi genocide orphans, and post-genocide. How we face the programs, we study the programs, but not only the programs, we look how we overcome the programs, how we overcome trauma, how we overcome like financial means. I mean, what we do just to help us, just to improve ourselves in a society, just to make our future better. Mm-hmm. So, of course, it's like the main points, but also the documentary was the initiative to ask because I get like an opportunity to go overseas outside of my country, I get an opportunity to interview people in the level of UN peacekeepers to ask if they really, they understand of maybe the world were aware, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Aware what was going on. Because it was really very hard to understand how 1 million of the population, children, women, villages, town people, all of the kind of people have been killed in only 3 months with the clubs, machetes, maybe sometimes guns and grenades. And we were under the international communities was on the ground. So the main purpose was just to teach the world, and the second, I would say, to look at the answer of all those questions that I was asking. How 1 million people, can you imagine 1 million people, teachers, everyone, 1 million in 3 months, 100 days. It's amazing to see if what they did, what was the reaction, what was the response, and unfortunately I couldn't get like a certified answer after that. Anyway, and I interviewed them. The documentary is under progress. It's still in progress, and I think one day will be. Anyway, what we want to teach is like how we face the programs and how we overcome that.
Okay.
I think the main thing, the main message.
Thank you. Also, what do you hope to accomplish or like some goals you set for yourself for telling your story of surviving the genocide?
Yeah, I have a couple of things to accomplish. I'm still studying. I just finished 2 years of my university. I'm doing well, so I have many things to go. I have to build myself in terms of morally and physically, and what I mean, to get my degree and to look for the job, and you see what I mean, and then to create a new family from me, just to represent my family who almost have been killed during the genocide.
And what is one thing you want people to take away from hearing your story of surviving?
I just want to say that after the problems, after the things, its life continues, and it's possible, and it's happening. When you see the situation in Rwanda, it's like the situation that we couldn't even imagine that will happen. And just to take, people should learn to restore peace in its communities, and also to help people in need. If I'm making sense, let me be clear on this. Just to, everything was happening. The world knew that, and no one did intervene until the Rwandans themselves tried everything. People have been constructed like a rebel group, and then took over the country, and then they established the peace and reconciliation. So I believe that anyone from maybe overseas, especially here in the United States, from this audience that I'm talking to, maybe someday among of these gentlemen and ladies, one of them will be like a chief of the UN who will obligate people to go on the ground. Maybe some of you will be the president of the United States. It's a superpower in the country. Maybe he will send the Marine to stop the killers and stuff like that. So I believe strongly that the future of the world is in the new generation. And it's in our arms, and these students, we are the ones. Those are working like other staff, as other people in the government all over the world, they're working, but there is a generation behind. So the message is, while we live for the next generation, are we leaving them with a really nice foundation, or we are living with a green or like fake foundation? I mean, you know what I mean? I don't know how I can express it, but I think you understand what I mean.